Crosby, Gensel on the right. He scores! Jake Gensel!
Hundley holds, steps up. Hundley sacks T.J. Watt! NFL history! Watt has tied Michael Strahan's single-season record. Oh, no.
In the air to right. This is deep. And he did it again. Jack Sawinski wins it for the Pirates. 3 home runs in a game.
Welcome to another live edition of Pittsburgh Sportsline. Yes, in our BPTV studio, the municipal building in Bethel Park. Everybody in Bethel knows where it's at. Police on the right, we're on the left, library above, mayor's office and admin up above. All right, we've got a great show for you today. A lot of sports and other stuff to talk about. And I'm Al Levine, the talking machine. We got Smoking Jim Frazier. Chip Hayner gave us the word a week ago that after his infected bones that he had in blood, he's going to be in May 9th. I haven't heard from him since. So I'm assuming we have Jim Ellenbogen, a.k.a. Guns, and whatever else you know him as in his 50 years of being in the public and politics. So hey, Guns is here. And we're not sure. I've lost a dozen bets with him on when Chip would be back, and I might lose this one. Nick, VIP on Pittsburgh Sportsline. Harry Callis on The Fan, 93.7.
All right.
So we know who he is. And we're going to go with our promos right now. We have longtime MVP Steve in the control room. So, Steve, go to our promos. Pittsburgh Sportsline supports the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette Strikers. I worked there for 36 years. My former union, CWA PPMWS 14842, Pittsburgh Local Mailers Union number 22, is on strike. Even though health care benefits were secured for workers by the union, Post-Gazette management cut them out without the union's approval and still expected workers to show up without any coverage. Please cancel your Post-Gazette subscriptions online or in print. Pittsburgh Sportsline supports the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette Union Strikers. Frank Fanera, owner of Olive Oil's Pizzeria and the Hillcrest Shopping Center on Route 88. Call them at 412-831-1900. Every Tuesday night, Olive Oil's Pizzeria provides the host and the amazing volunteer crew with an XL pepperoni pizza and a full steak hoagie. They are delicious. Olive Oils is proud to support Pittsburgh Sportsline and the volunteers at BPTV. Stay Joey strong. Joey Fabus died at 8 years old of brain cancer known as DIPG. Since then, the family has come together with community members to create the Joey Fabus Childhood Cancer Foundation, a 501c3 nonprofit. Since being founded, they've raised over $100,000. Go to jfccf.org to learn more about DIPG, to help spread awareness, and to see how else you can support and donate towards the fight against this dreaded brain cancer. Always Be Smiling, a 501c3 designed to help children and families in need of kidney transplants. The B stands for Bennett, whose memory is embedded in this organization by his parents, Kristen and Dean. Despite the challenges he faced in his 16 and a half years of life, Bennett always had a smile on his face and spread kindness to everyone he could. Now, Always Be Smiling wants to pass on that kindness. Go to alwaysbesmiling.org to learn more and see how you can support or donate to this organization. The Bethel Park Community Foundation has money for you. I'm Al Levine, trustee on the board of this great organization. The BPCF focuses on raising money to provide scholarships, grants, endowments, and more. Grant requests are available online from $100 to $5,000. You can also attend fundraisers or donate. Go to bpcf.org to get more information and to stay up to date on upcoming events. The Bethel Park Community Foundation, focusing community resources, building for the future. The Bethel Park Historical Society is a 501c3 that serves Bethel Park. The Historical Society operates out of the Schoolhouse Arts and History Center, located at 2600 South Park Road. Look for the red and white trolley right out front. Reginald's Coffee is inside, and I've heard it's the best coffee around. To visit this great historical venue, email historicalsocietybp@gmail.com.
And now this message from BPTV.
Alas, poor talking machine. I knew him well. A fellow of infinite jest, of most excellent fancy?
Dave, I'm not dead. I'm still doing Pittsburgh Sportsline every Tuesday night and many other weekly shows on BPTV.
That's great, Al, but then who's this?
I don't know, but we must leave right now. Let's go. Help save Pittsburgh police officer Jeffrey Crawford. Jeffrey is in need of a kidney donation. He's in stage 5 renal failure and he's on dialysis 3 times a week. He needs this kidney ASAP. To contact the UPMC donor registry, call 412-647-4438 or go to livingdonorreg.upmc.com. And to help spread awareness, use the hashtag #BlessJeff on socials. Let's come together to support Pittsburgh policeman Jeffrey Crawford in his time of need. Alex Reed is in need of a kidney. 2 weeks after college graduation, Alex's kidneys failed. A gracious donor gave Alex 7 years of life, but now he needs another kidney. To learn more about becoming a donor for Alex, call 830-285-2140 or go to kidneysolutions.org. All right, welcome back. Hey, thanks to Paul Haley and Chief McElroy, Bill Means from KO. He's there. Amy's watching us. Hi, guys. Welcome back. Nick, today is my cousin Brooke Shields' birthday.
Wow. Why does that name sound familiar?
James Randall Ellenbogen's watching. Michael Parrish is watching, and Marco Rohde's watching. Hey, thanks for everybody watching. I got one promo with Zhang Taekwondo. Let's see, we got Rowan on the camera. He volunteered to come out of the control room, and he's on camera. Let's see what we got here. Look at that, Zhang Taekwondo. They have a beginner special, 4 weeks, and you get a uniform for $30. Mention Alan Levine, the talking machine, Smoking Jim Frazier, and Nick, VIP Callis. You get a discount. They have a great place, brand new place, 1 year anniversary coming up the end of the month in Bridgeville and Chartiers Valley Shopping Center there near LA Fitness and Home Depot. And they're in Wexford also. They teach a lot of great people. They're doing Taekwondo at Provident Charter School, the only school in America that teaches dyslexic kids with learning disabilities, and it's on their curriculum. So very good staff there. Master Zach, Grandmaster Zhang. And we got breaking news. Nick Callis has gone to a couple lessons there.
Yeah.
Doing Taekwondo. All right.
Grandmaster Nick.
Let's go to
One can only hope.
What's on your mind, Smoking Jim Frazier?
Thanks, Al Levine, the talking machine. And if you want the green, you got
Eye hard fast when you see him blink.
Levine.
He blinked on that.
Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrows, Josh Allen, Aaron Rodgers, Justin Herbert, Russell Wilson, Trevor Lawrence, Lamar Jackson, Jimmy G. How about Deshaun Watson, Tua? This is the best group and deepest group of quarterbacks in AFC history, and the Steelers pass on Kenny Pickett's lethal weapon, Jordan Addison. He reminds me of Santonio Holmes, Super Bowl MVP, Tim Brown, Hall of Famer, Drew Peterson, Hall of Famer, Mark Super Duper, Mark Clayton, Raymond Berry, Chad Johnson, Ocho Cinco, Steve Largent. You can win without a left tackle, you can win without a nose guard, but the Steelers can't win without Jordan Addison.
Okay, I got a question. Pick me.
Hold it. Is he done talking? Don't interrupt him.
Oh, he's done. He's
I
looking at the
can't
sky.
hear
Look at him.
anymore.
Look, that actually hurt my ears. I've never heard you.
That's
yell
how
that
he
loudly.
used before his undisclosed surgery. This is how he was.
Right.
So whatever they replaced, now it's working.
Who would you have that? You would rather them have chosen Jordan Addison over Broderick Jones?
He said it.
I'll get to Broderick Jones.
Because you
but
only
yes.
because they only had one first-round draft pick, right?
Yes.
We can all agree on that.
Yes.
So who did you want them to?
Because your quarterback wanted Jordan Addison, and he was worthy of a first
So who
round
would you?
pick.
So Broderick Jones, right? You don't
Answer
want
the
Broderick Jones?
question.
That's what-
I would have took Jordan Addison with
instead of.
yeah.
Who he's
Yes.
going to talk
Broderick
about
Jones?
later.
Yes.
He's going to talk about him later.
All right.
Quit putting his name out there. It's a tease. Smoking Jim is back 110%.
Legend returns.
I've been praying for my BFF, 11 years friends on Facebook.
That was awesome. Thanks for the post.
And I had to go through, I'll just share this. You know, I'm on Facebook doing a lot of things. I went through over 200 photos, and I picked a few out that I thought were stellar. And I spent 40 minutes like a knucklehead picking photos out for my BFF, and he just goes, "It's an honor." So all I had to do is put one with me and him. All that time I wasted. Hey, Ralph said hello, guys. Thanks
That's
for
my
watching. Johnny Mariano always has the best to say. Great show, guys. We miss you, Johnny M. And let's see what else. Okay. Let's go. We got to go to Jim Ellenbogen. Come on, Guns. We know. I'm going to do the little tease. If you listened last week, wait till you hear how many of his picks went in the top 10.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Guns,
Good job.
what's on your mind?
First of all, I'll have what he's having.
Get a double.
Double. Well, if you listen to the Steeler office and you listen to the Pittsburgh media who line up like little ducklings, supposedly Omar and Mike get an A+ in that draft. No, it's not. It's not an A+. And you Penn State fans and all you Pitt fans and all that think it's an A+. It's not. If you ever picked up a football, you know it's no better than a B. It was a B draft, but it was an A+ PR draft. Now let's talk about why. The first round they took, for left tackle, they took Broderick Jones.
Yeah.
Now, if you remember last week, I named 4 offensive linemen.
Guns, I remember and I salute you.
They were the top guys. I said Paris Johnson would be gone before you blinked, and he was gone. The kid from Northwestern, how do you say his name? Skrbinski or
Yeah, it's close to it. There's a ski at the end.
him?
No offense to all you skis and
I didn't like the third
Pittsburgh.
guy right because he was a right tackle and trying to adjust. And they just got the 4th guy. Now, here's where they made the mistake. If you're going to go up front to get that draft, you go up, instead of going to 14, you go up to 9 and you get Serpinski. And why?
Yes, sir.
This is the guy that's going to protect this kid for the next 10 years.
well, you got to open door more. Anybody's an improvement.
Jones, and here's the thing, here's the difference. Jones is a great offensive lineman. He protects the quarterback well. But every great offensive line has a leader, somebody who anchors that line. Well, Pouncey was the anchor for the Steelers for many years. This line has no anchor. But this kid from Northwestern, his biggest talent, not only was he a beast and a great, but he had a knack for the mechanics of the game. He would have been a great anchor to that
Thanks
team.
for breaking that down. Yes.
Yeah, great. So I won't go into that anymore. And then everybody wanted Joey Porter. Greatest PR move they ever pulled, and they don't even believe it. I'm going to tell you why. First, they signed Peterson knowing they were going to go after him, and then they snuck in Trice later down the line because they don't even believe it. And if you follow that, you know Joey Porter got problems with the run. And listen to this, Nick, because I know you're getting ready to load up. College football, you know the first 2-3 games of the major teams are always dogs they play. Teams that are 40 points underdog.
Little sisters of the poor.
The top cornerbacks in
No offense.
The top cornerbacks this year all averaged 6-7 interceptions a year. Joey Porter in 4 years playing dogs that you never even heard of, 1 interception.
Good point.
And I got news for you. He's going to get a rude introduction when he's guarding guys like some of these all-pro
Tyreek Hill.
Hello.
Jamar Chase.
So that's what I got to say about that.
Guns, I just want to thank you for your insights last week. I was watching it with my son, Drew. Shout out to Drew. Nick said hi.
Hi, Drew.
And Drew kept saying, Guns was talking about him, then the 3 others. And he goes, look, Dad, they're going and we didn't pick yet.
And I'm going to tell you another. The greatest pick I liked was Washington from Georgia.
Loved it.
Because you know what's really cool about this? This kid's a monster.
Yeah.
He's a monster. But you're not old enough to remember this. But Chuck Noll took 2 great tight ends, one from Kansas and one from Southern Cal, and turned those tight ends into offensive linemen, 2 of the best offensive linemen the Steelers ever had.
Larry Brown.
Larry Brown from Kansas and Moon Mullins from Southern Cal.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
This
Good
kid is, maybe they'll do tricks with him, but he's going to be a great blocker, and there's so many options with him. And then there's Trice, who, hey, let's back up Joey Porter because we know it's all BS. Because they should have drafted another defensive end. And then they had to get a guy from Maryland because, you know, Mike Tomlin loves Maryland.
Well, here's the other thing. He has a committee he formed with a couple other people, and their mission to help Maryland get players in the NFL. It started about 5 years ago because I asked Smokin' Jim, why are we getting Maryland players? And he goes, I'm not sure, probably Tomlin. So I researched it. They started a committee exclusive. So why is he doing it just with Maryland
The
players?
head of the committee was Marion Barry.
You find out later.
2 last points. Benton.
That was scripted.
Benton, the defensive tackle nose guard they're going to use him
Yeah.
for. Was he the best they could have got? I don't think so, but he's good. But you know what that tells me?
No.
That Tomlin is looking to dirty up the line. Now, what does that mean? This kid can get down and dirty, the Maya Sue kind of dirty. And that's what they're telling me. They're looking for some roughness in that line. So that's a wait-and-see thing. And then naturally, you know, we're the city of brotherly love, not Philadelphia, because we got another set of brothers. Got to keep that good brother going good. And that's what's on my mind.
I love it.
Thank you, Guns. We'll cover some of that stuff. Marco said, hi, guys. Just got back from band trip to Myrtle Beach.
Happy belated birthday,
Got
Marco.
back at 10 last night. I was a chaperone for my daughter in 2006 on their band trip, and we even saw the minor league Pirate team, like A-Ball and Myrtle Beach had a team, and we got to watch them. We and 2 other chaperones took about 20 kids. We had great fun that day. So great memories with that. Thanks for sharing that. John Donatelli got this one. Doctor, thank you for your professional opinion. Obviously, Seagram's is better than Fago. Doctor, Smokin' Jim, I got to do a disclaimer on Dr. Donatelli. Smokin' Jim allegedly has never had a drink in his life. Now, he's had many cuts of pizza on our show. We've lost track at like 1,500, and we're going there. And
You got to listen to him. He's actually a doctor for real.
yeah. And then Tony from Chick-fil-A said, Smokin' Jim wearing camouflage. Did he go hunting over the weekend? No, he didn't go hunting. He was doing his normal travels from God's Country, Monroeville to New Kensington.
Hey,
Hey, nobody looked at this. Look at this machine.
Hey, Machine, he brought hunting honeys to a new sport.
Look at my penguin hat.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hey,
Mr.
Paul,
Penguin hat.
yeah, we can barely see it. Paul Haley corrected me. The Pelicans have a double-A team called the Pelicans, and I remember them. They were the team, and I forget what our double-A team was back 17 years ago now. Wow. All right. Well, we got to move on.
We were the Machines.
We're going to move on to Nick VIP Callis. What's on your mind? And I know you're going to dispute the guns.
Not entirely. Not entirely.
You're going to dispute the guns.
I
I
don't
stand
agree.
by that.
That's
All right,
what we do.
Here, first dispute, I guess. The grade.
Well, you disagree with
I
them.
give him an A.
Because he's one of the Pittsburgh media.
Fan.
93.7 right there. You
We
can't
are
hide it.
fan. We are fan.
You're
And
one
I'll
of the
give
boys.
you my grade, and I'll show you what
He's one
my
of the
grade
boys,
is.
but
I'm
go
a
ahead.
fan.
Oh, we done. Oh, good. Okay. What's on my mind? I give him an A. I give him an A.
Hold on, we heard you. That's repetitive.
Oh, we good? We're good. I give him an A. So
No, we're good again because he's more repetitive because I'll keep doing this
I'll
because he
keep
likes
doing
to do
this
it.
too.
You
Anyway,
know we repeated it 3 times?
give him an A. Why?
Sure.
Because, okay, first thing, I don't necessarily love Joey Porter Jr. When you talk about a guy, we expected him to get drafted in the first round. The Steelers, I would say, got a steal in that case because you got a guy from first-round value and you got him in the second round. So let's start with that. That's fantastic. And on top of that, you get a first-round guy in the second round, and then you draft a lineman in the first round to bolster the line. I thought that's what we wanted as Steeler fans, was to bolster the offensive line. How many other offensive line were there that were better than Broderick Jones? I mean, maybe on paper some, but Broderick Jones
0 in my humble opinion.
Broderick Jones comes from Georgia, and what has Georgia been doing the last few years? Winning national championships. Now, if you focus on the individual stats and just, the individual people, the individual players, you might see more value, but there's also a lot of value in a player who's been a part of a championship team, and so Broderick Jones with Georgia seems like a good decision. I'd say that. Now, as for Joey Porter Jr., you look at interceptions and you go, oh, he only had a few interceptions
One.
in previous years. One.
Just one.
Okay, not even
I'll
4
repeat
years.
it
He's
again.
He's had one.
It was 1. Now you know.
He's had
We're
one.
just correcting you.
4 years.
Yeah, and they didn't say that on the fan.
No. So now what? That doesn't look great. Do the Steelers? I mean, the Steelers got connections to Joey Porter Sr., which could help in that case. They've got a more personal relationship with the family, so it could work out.
Look at him.
Okay, think about all of what we call the intangibles, the things that you might not see face value. So Broderick Jones, champion. Joey Porter Jr. has had a connection to the Steelers his entire life. Darnell Washington, another Georgia player who looks like a beast, and again, a part of championship culture football. So when you look at those things, you got 2 linemen, or, the tight end line and, versatility, and then you got a cornerback. Okay, all 2 of those positions were of interest when the Steelers were going into the draft. They didn't even draft a receiver this draft. So think about that, too. They're bolstering so many more positions that aren't wide receiver for the first time in a long time. Put that all into consideration, and I kind of think, and I'm sitting there going, okay, the Steelers they're thinking. They're addressing issues that we as fans have been clamoring for. Give them an A for that. In the entire free agency so far, they're making an effort to make moves to get new faces in here, to bolster the line, to make the line more of a competition this year than just the stagnant, let's wait for the revolving doors to begin, as these 2 have just said, right? So just think a little bit more about it, right? You think, okay, we could have had more options. There might have been better players. Joey Porter Jr.'s only had 1 interception, blah, 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 blah.
That's the 5th time we've heard that.
Or you can think of it like, okay, there might be something a little more integrated into what they're thinking. And in that case, they're taking risks and making decisions to bolster the front end, the line, the defense, etc. Now, why I don't like Joey Porter Jr., the one thing that I don't appreciate is that as a guy who got drafted in the second round going, oh, I'm a little bit upset because I got drafted in the second round. I'll let that go into my play.
Who's his dad?
Joey Porter Sr.
Who's his dad?
I don't love a guy who's like,
why.
I'm a little bit upset about getting drafted. What are you talking about? You were the 32nd overall pick.
That's his dad.
Right?
That's his dad.
So that to me is a little bit like, I don't love that comment. I still see his upsides, but that comment makes me a little bit like, You didn't need to say that. Why don't you just be angry in private? You know, don't tell the people that in your press conference fresh off getting drafted. But all right. I think there's a huge upside. I say A, and I told you why. That's the 6th time I've said that. A7, A8. All right, I'm done. That's what's on my mind.
Nick, I appreciate how emotional you are, and you're a typical Steeler fan. Tomlin's been watching our show because we've been talking about this for months. We've been talking they needed linemen, they need grittiness, they needed tough people. So not only is he listening to fans who weren't saying that, the media has been brainwashing them with what we needed to do. And our gentleman at the end said, Con is the worst person that could have been in there, and he doesn't do anything. But I'll rebut some of that. But I got to
sit there for.
I got
to. Didn't even do the full season yet.
Here, he said that at the beginning when they hired him.
Hey, Al.
What are you doing?
If Joey Porter was the second coming, everybody forgets 31 other teams said, nah, he ain't so great to take in the first either.
I never used that term.
No, I'm not saying. You made a couple great points.
Well, we
but
can
I'm just
debate
saying.
that. Smoking, you got a
I just
rebuttal.
got
That
one
wasn't
thing.
a rap at you,
Only
Nick.
only problem I got with Darnell Washington. Only problem I got because he's an A player across the board.
His last name's Washington.
he's black.
I knew he was black then. The only problem I got, he grew
There
up.
are no white Washingtons.
He
George.
grew up, and he went to high
father
school.
of our country.
He grew up and he went to high school in Las Vegas, and about 5 or 6 NFL players just got busted for gambling and got suspended for a year. So I'm just making sure he's not a gambler growing up in Vegas.
We'll talk about that another
Because he'll
time.
stand out like a sore thumb in the Rivers Casino at 6'7".
Well, we have a
2'7".
degenerate. We have
Why he
a
goes to the Meadows.
yeah.
we have a degenerate gambler smoking Jim Frazier, who I tell people don't listen to. Last year, he made 10 picks that can't miss. 9 of them missed.
Well, if Washington is black,
9 of them missed.
he's
Just listen
throwing
to that.
dice. I don't throw
All right,
dice.
Nick, there's a question for you from, let's see. Amy has a question. Is Kenny Pickett still going to be quarterback for the Steelers this year?
Absolutely.
All right, Anthony Bacco makes a comment, and then he gives you a compliment. First one is Joey Porter good because he's talented or because he's a porter living in his dad's shoes?
I don't think I ever said he was.
He just said your thought.
My thought?
He didn't say what you said.
I think that because his dad had ties to the Steelers, that could help him and the Steelers grow well together.
All right, leave it at that. Then he goes, Nick, you nailed the draft. Pittsburgh is acting different this year in the draft.
Amen.
And Amy said she agrees with you, and I'm not sure on what point.
Okay.
But we'll cover that. All right, what's on my mind is the statements here prove why I don't watch or care about the draft. The only draft that impressed me in my whole life was 1974, and it hasn't been done since. 4 Hall of Famers for the Steelers were picked in that draft. And I've watched football my whole life. Answer this, any one of you or all 3 of you, are 4 of these picks that we have, and you're high on them. You gave them an A. I give a B+ because they listened to what we wanted. I don't think it's going to really help much, but mentally and publicity-wise, it's an A+, like Gunn said, because look at what we're talking about. Any one of you, tell me if we're going to have 1 Hall of Famer from this draft.
We ain't going to have 4 starters from this
No,
class.
but okay, there's one. Guns, are we going to have at least 1 Hall of Famer from this?
If Jones develops like I think he can,
Okay.
there is a possibility there that he could be a Bill Fraley
Thanks for
kind
your
of guy.
honesty.
That's a no.
Nick, how many do you think are going to make
shot.
the Hall of Fame? Because you're very pumped up.
I don't know, but Tom Brady was drafted in the 6th round, wasn't
Hold it.
Oh, okay.
I'm
Oh.
asking
Oh.
1974
I can't see the
Steelers.
future.
Let me talk to this young man. 1974, when they drafted him, we knew we had some special players. We didn't know exactly if they'd be in the Hall of Fame, but all of you get all fired up with the draft. 90% of the players don't even start.
How many teams?
Number 1 picks, 32 teams, and there were only 31 picks, and nobody mentioned how Miami lost the number 1 draft pick this year.
Good point.
You know, there is one guy that I think kind of reminds me a lot of Jack Ham when he was young.
Ooh,
Is
that's
that Hebrick kid
Yeah.
is a sharp, hard-hitting
Yeah.
kid.
Oh.
There's a possibility he may shine, but we'll have to wait and see.
right, and that's my thing.
How many
You
teams-
gave the answer here. I wasn't putting you down.
No.
But does this draft compare to a 4 Hall of Famer draft?
Really
How many-
5 if you count Donnie Shell.
Well, yeah, I didn't want to throw that in
I'm
because it
sorry.
took so many years.
sorry.
Because if somebody would have said yes, I'd go, well, there was one more.
Yeah.
That's
You know,
gonna-
I hold back a
That
little
ain't my
bit,
fault.
Smoking.
Do you know
How
what?
many-
You got me.
That's
Go.
my question. How many teams were in the league in '74?
I don't know, maybe 24, 28.
Okay.
And what's the point of that,
The
my
point
genius
is,
friend?
The point is there's a lot of guys in the NFL now that would have never made it then.
Yeah, it's so watered down.
Just like baseball.
Yeah, you said that all the time about baseball. All these minor league players have to play Major League Baseball because there's 30 teams to cycle through. If there are 32 teams now and there were less teams in '74, you have more of a chance to hit the diamonds because there are less teams to compete with.
Truth.
So it's hard to compare that era to this one.
Hey, you know what took Donnie Shell so long to get in there?
There were too many Steelers in.
No, because a lot of these guys that played ended up in the media, and he crippled so many of them that they remembered it when they
One of
voted.
the hardest hitters, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
Chief McElroy says, how many in the entire draft? Kahn did a great job. Hey, I give him credit with Tomlin changing his mentality and doing what he did. And I
did
believe they were together with Kahn and the rest of the guys deciding on what to do. It just wasn't one guy. They've always said it's Tomlin. Who knows if it is, but how does a leopard change its spot so quickly?
It
And we
was-
needed it.
Yeah, it was a great PR job.
Yeah, I'm
Not
with
a
you.
Great draft.
Here, Paul Haley says Broderick Jones could turn out to be another Charles Haley. Time will tell. How about that?
He was a great player from James Madison
Thanks, Paul.
University.
And then, Tony, we can't discuss your question. We need Chip back. What MLB catcher had caught most no-hitters throughout their career? You tell us. Send that back with what your answer is so we'll know. And Chip's watching, so when he comes back
Yes.
next week, he
All
can
right,
answer that.
Chipper.
All right, let's see. Chip got the usual question for Smoking Jim. Nick already asked it, and Chippy was quiet. What's your grade for the draft? Is
You'll
it
know-
not D
you'll know-
minus?
You'll know in a few minutes.
Oh, we'll know during. We got to
Yeah.
go to our special segment. Chip, you have to wait. Thanks for your input. All right, let's see what else we got. We're good. And Anthony Bacco, Donnie Shell was a free agent. Anthony, thanks for having my back on that. I said draft, so free agent
you sure
covered
did.
that.
You sure
yeah,
did.
and that's why I waited on it because I was hoping Nick would say 4 of them will make the Hall of Fame. But he copped out. He said he's not Nostradamus. For all of you that know about Nostradamus,
Allow myself to get
he's
drawn
not
by
Nostradamus.
Just want them to contribute to a Super Bowl. I'll be happy with
people who
that.
Never played ball.
I'll go for a winning record
I
better
get
than
drawn
9 and
into
8.
that.
Yes.
We're on the same page.
times you ever
All
done
right, Smoking Jim Frazier. We got fiction and fact from Smoking Jim's Almanac in 10 seconds. Steve, get.
The talking machine, and let's get to the grades for this year's draft.
See all you wait.
L. Levine, the talking machine. We got another bum from Maryland in the 7th round, Spencer Anderson. In the 6th round,
Go Tomlin.
we had 2 picks in the 7th round. I give the other pick an A. Corey Trice Jr., 6'4", 215 pounds, can play safety or corner with 4.4 speed. L. Levine, the talking machine, that was an A grade. Spencer, the other 7th round pick, was an F grade. We had no 6th round.
Yeah, but
pick.
are they both upgrades?
We had no 6th round pick, L. Levine, the talking machine. You don't take a test, you get an F. We had no 5th round pick, L. Levine, the talking machine. You don't take a test, you get an F.
Yeah.
In the 4th round, in the 5th round, I love Nick Herbig, but L. Levine, the talking machine. He's an outside linebacker. We got 2 all-pro outside linebackers, so I got to give that pick a C. Where you going to play him at? It was a waste
When
of
Watt
pick.
gets hurt,
we need
Watt
a middle-
has the Watt disease.
That's it.
He will fill in. I got to
need a
no
middle-
disclaimer.
we
I got to
need a
tell you the
middle-
truth.
We need a middle
Watt
linebacker.
disease.
And they went for an outside linebacker. That's a C pick. You get an A for the 4th round pick, Darnell Washington. What a steal. 6'7", 265. He hurdles people. He's a 5-star athlete coming out of high school. He's a 4.6 40. He's strong. He loves to block. And like Gunn said, after 8 to 9 years, you can move him to tackle like they did Larry Brown, and you got a Pro Bowl player in 2 different positions. The Pittsburgh Steelers got a bum in the 3rd round from Wisconsin, Benton. He's too weak. He's too weak to play nose guard. He ain't athletic enough to play defensive end.
He was a wrestler. Don't
Why
call
you
him
making this
non-athletic.
pick? I tell you what, man. They carried him there. I tell you what, Al Levine, the talking machine, you and Nick should know about nepotism, and that's what the Steelers got when they got Joey Porter Jr.
2 for 1.
Jason Gilden. Wait a minute. Jason Gilden got to be the head coach of North Catholic. Tomlin sends his son to North Catholic to start. Porter sends his son to North Catholic to start. They smoke cigars under the bleachers, and they got rid of North Catholic and moved the school out to Cranberry. Hell, Levine, the talking machine. So I give that pick a B for Joey Porter. And we go to the number 1 pick, Al Levine, the talking machine. In my
Thanks for the
yearbook,
focus.
in my yearbook, Broderick Jones is there for the guy most likely to get the quarterback killed. Look here. This guy is about as raw as you can get. He only started 1 year at Georgia. You ain't got to be smart to play for Georgia. All they do is plant peanuts. Anybody can do that. Hell, Levine, the talking machine. Hey, look here. He's not going to be able to pick up on the offense. The guy is raw. He got a hard time learning, Al Levine, the talking machine. In my draft report, I had him as a guard, not a tackle, because he's the best running, pulling tackle I ever seen. And he can be a great pulling guard because he can block in space. A lot of guys can run, but they can't block in space. They miss the block. He kills those defensive backs. But Al Levine, the talking machine, he's not strong. He gets beat to the inside. You get beat to the inside, Al Levine, the talking machine, you're going to get your quarterback killed. And the guy's always on the ground in the film I watch. I didn't know if it was Broderick Jones or Kenny Norton, but Al Levine, the talking machine, that's what I got. I think it's a wasted pick. The best he's going to do, he will not start. Maybe he'll start in 2 years at guard. That's a D grade for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Oh, it's up from D minus.
D.
Yes. Smoking Jim, that's the first time on the Jim side of the table that you've disagreed with Guns. I wanted to make it out. Chief McElroy says, I just know the entire panel are Hall of Famers. Anthony Bacco said, Smoking Jim, please don't hold back. And let's see what else. And Anthony Bacco said, he calls you Smoking Joe's on fire. Same with Amy. And I just wanted to say, after the undisclosed surgery he had 5-6 weeks ago, he's truly back. We don't know what it was. Maybe it's steroids he's on. And Pete Kasich's watching. And Smoking Jim, I figured you know how Jones is because of how you weren't a good student, should we say, at Gateway. So you can relate to that.
Yes, sir.
I don't know if you were good on the inside or outside since you were a legendary running back that we have no witnesses to.
Did you ever plant peanuts?
He ate them.
Where did that come from?
Hey, he learned to eat great peanuts from Nicholas Coffee and Tea. Best roasted peanuts in Pittsburgh, unsalted. Go to Nicholas Coffee and Tea, and I get a bag for him every once in a while, and he appreciates it, especially on our boxing road trips. All right, let's go to this time for Guns. Steve, 10 seconds. Steve's in the control room. Whew. You know we can hear Steve.
Were we ready? I'm so glad you're back.
Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
I'll tell you what, I just can't get over what it is with the Steelers and their defensive line. It's all about linebackers and it's all about corners with him.
Yes, sir.
Whatever happened to like big Russian defensive ends?
Mm-hmm.
If they would have picked the corner they really wanted and played him with Peterson and not, they could have picked a big, strong, I'm talking about 285, 300-pound defensive end that's fast.
sir. Yes,
But they put it all on the nose guard, all on Hayward, all on this other guy who I don't disagree with you. He's in there to make it ugly, but I don't think he's that great. You know what I mean? I do agree with you too that this Eagle kid, his brother Herbert, he could be a great player if they had somewhere to play him.
Yes.
But see, here's the thing I don't understand. You hooked up the whole offensive line, right? But it's like in a car, you got everything but the key to start it. Who the Sam Hill is going to be the center? The last center you have is too small. They got nobody that's real. And the Steelers have had the greatest centers in history.
Yes, sir.
Webster, I go back,
Mansfield.
conjure up Mike Webster to come back into somebody.
Dawson, Mansfield.
Mansfield, truly.
Oh,
Yeah.
the Ranger.
One of your buddies, Ranger.
Yeah, the kid that was sick. Mike Webster.
Yeah.
Dermontti Dawson.
Yeah.
Pouncey. Now we have no one. So,
Jim Sweeney. I like that.
Sweeney. And he went to Buffalo, didn't he?
Yeah, he wasn't a Steeler then.
Beachview kid.
Smoking Jim, we're trying to go Steelers.
One of Beachview's
See how he's back? Now he throws out this stuff to try to confuse us and take you off your A game.
So
keep going, Guns. You're on fire.
So
that side's on
He
fire.
refuses to address the rest of the defensive line other than nose guard position. Because they're going to start this new kid at nose guard whenever Hayward's going off and on. And I'm not sure. One thing I'm not sure this guy is a 3-down player.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And he is.
We
a
don't
little
look
weak.
for that anymore.
And he's a little shaky on the rush. I'm telling you, I don't see the skill set. I see the ugliness. The Nehemiah Sue kind of player.
Whoa.
That's what they're. That's
Bringing
the only.
he brought Sue to the table here.
That's
he was downright nasty.
That's what I see.
I love him.
So you never got a good center. You picked up that bum from Maryland. So, let's call it what it is. And anybody that ever played the game, that can see past all this PRBS, you get all the people that play golf and all that saying, oh, you know what? This was a great draft. Yeah? I wouldn't want to be on that field with some of them guys. That's all I can tell you.
You're talking to no offense meant, but a generation that has strong thumbs.
Exactly.
I like that.
Yeah,
Well, you know
just
what?
doing that.
Hey, at my age now, I say what I think. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, Paul Haley got a comment here. Very entertaining show so far. I can't wait for Nick to be jumping up and down while reporting on the Pirates.
Yeah, speaking of the Pirates, again, I have to say, I'm still having fun with this team.
Me too.
I mean, I felt bad they got beat like they did the day before yesterday. That was a bummer, but
to be the first to get 20 wins and be in first place in the
oh,
NL.
they're fun to watch.
I salute them.
I haven't enjoyed listening to a baseball game in 20 years like I do this team.
Exactly. Look at Smoking Jim's delirious. Put
Because
a
you
camera
never
on him.
know.
I'm on my right pitch,
You
man.
look good. I know you two got to quit competing at who's better looking. It's enough of this. It's affecting the show.
Hold it. Hey, Smoking Jim, this is for you. Pete Kasich has something to say. Fetterman was also in the hospital at the same hospital with you. Well, I slipped up and I wrongly accused him of getting brain surgery until he drove us down to Monsville.
He didn't drive us.
I'm doing what Smoking Jim does.
Oh.
It's like he liked that.
Well, last point. I'm glad, Chip, you're feeling better. I'm sure the folks are missing all your baseball talent here. Me, on the other hand, I appreciated the opportunity.
Oh,
I'm going to the Kentucky Derby on Saturday, and then I'm going back to Manitoba. And that's it.
All right.
whoa, you heard it first. Anthony Bacco has a statement. Doesn't the defense start with the defensive lineman? If you listen to the show, Anthony, I've been saying it, Gunn's been saying it, and a few others have added in that we've noticed that since October, even since the beginning of the season. You know, we were very disappointed there, and they did get lucky to keep the streak alive. Unlike the Penguins, they were in the playoffs for 16 years in a row, which was a North American record. When you just have a winning 16 seasons, they don't consider that a record. Just to put it in perspective for all the people that watch. And that's what I have, you know. Oh, I got to go to my section. Yeah, you got. We got to go to Nick VIP. He threw me off. Yeah, Nick VIP
He's
coming up in
rocking it.
10 seconds. Can't wait for This Is Gonna Be.
All right, so I'm not going to talk about the Pirates specifically today, but I'm gonna talk about Kenny Pickett. I'm going to relate Kenny Pickett to baseball. I'm going to talk about something that I was thinking about the other day. So we all know Mason Miller. I played with him at Waynesburg. He was a Bethel Park High School graduate. He's in the major leagues. He's throwing 100 miles an hour right now and is a highly touted prospect.
The Oakland A's.
Of theirs, for the Oakland Athletics, yes. Kenny Pickett didn't grow up in Pittsburgh, but played for the University of Pittsburgh, and then went on to be
For how many years?
To be in the NFL, and drafted and now plays for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I'm glad that Al said that because that plays right into what I want to talk about.
I'm your straight guy.
Right, thank you for making that comment.
You're welcome.
So here's what I want to talk about with Mason. I heard at a school board meeting the other day they were giving Mason Miller praise. They were talking about, he chased his dreams, he followed his heart, and now he's in Major League Baseball.
He did.
But here's what I want to say, because Kenny Pickett and Mason Miller had kind of what I think of as like a similar story as it relates to the pandemic and the extra year of eligibility that you get that they got because
he
they
was
were
there
playing in the
5
middle of the
years?
coach. Yeah, so hold on. So just a second. Now, Mason was actually at Waynesburg, and he was set on a path to start doing something in business. That was the degree he was going for at Waynesburg. Wanted to play baseball and was fully prepared, from what I understand, to not play baseball after his 4 years at Waynesburg. Now, I only played with him for a year. I don't know how much he was really heavily into Major League Baseball, but from my understanding, he was going to graduate and he was going to go into the business world. Then the COVID year happened, and he got an extra year of eligibility, which actually gave him 2 more years because he was a senior during the COVID year, so he could have gone on for a couple more years. But during the COVID year, something changed in him where he got stronger. He worked out, and he had that time to kind of hone his craft as a pitcher. Went from D3 Waynesburg to D1 Gardner-Webb, and then ends up getting drafted. And nobody here is saying anything, from what I understand. None of his supporters, from what I'm understanding, are saying anything along the lines of, he got that extra year of eligibility. He's, what the heck? And so...
I didn't know.
Right, yeah. So maybe a lot of people didn't know.
We didn't know.
But who was held accountable?
Go Bethel Park.
Who was held accountable for that extra year of eligibility that they got? And that was Kenny Pickett. Everybody's talking about, that extra year is the only reason he got drafted. That extra year is the only reason he's even relevant. What the heck? Blah, 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 blah. He couldn't have played well. He wouldn't have played as well if he would only had 4 years or done the normal, played his normal amount of eligibility. Blah, blah, blah. And so that's just kind of the opinion in this case. We don't know where talent's going to come from, and we don't know what opportunities are going to exist in sports that are going to give teams the best chance to win. We never know. Mason Miller could be at an office desk right now, typing,
He could have been.
typing out documents and documenting people's lives. But no, something about the COVID year kind of steered him toward, now I can get bigger and stronger and pitch harder and work my way to D1 and then get drafted. Kenny Pickett very well could have just been another one of those washed-up Pitt quarterbacks that kind of did, average, and then he moves on and nothing special happens to Pitt. But no, COVID year happens. He does whatever he needed to do to get better, and he leads Pitt to an ACC championship and a bowl game, gets drafted into the NFL. So stop being so hard on Kenny Pickett is my point, right? We here in Bethel Park have a little bit more of a personal attachment, we feel like, to Mason Miller because he's from here, right? And so nobody's saying that extra year of eligibility, terrible. How's he going to do well? If he didn't have that extra year of eligibility, he would have never made it or been terrible. We're saying that about Kenny Pickett. You never know where talent's going to come from. So that's the opinion. Appreciate who is here with us. I feel like Kenny Pickett, having that extra year, that COVID year, that extra year of eligibility, got him to the Steelers and got him to be where he needed to be an NFL quarterback. The same way that Mason Miller is now throwing in triple digits consistently as a starting pitcher developing with the Oakland Athletics right now. RIP Oakland, because they're going to probably be in Vegas by the time he really breaks out. But that's not the point. You know what I mean. You never know where talent's going to come from. Appreciate it. And stop being so hard on Kenny Pickett if you are. That's the opinion.
Nick, I got to do not disclaimers, but a rebuttal opinion.
Sure.
One of the reasons people are hard on Kenny Pickett, like I am, is the extra year, and he did well. And who did he play? I don't want to get deeply into that. So he broke Danny Marino, who was a true legend. I saw him play, climb Cardiac Hill, watch him play a half dozen games. The difference between him and Pickett, it's off the charts. I'll just share that. With his record and not winning a Super Bowl, one of the greatest quarterbacks that could throw.
I don't care about the records.
No, but his throwing is no comparison. Kenny Pickett, if he didn't win 2 games in the last seconds, look at his stats. When you talk about stats, that's how we determine what they're doing.
Or those intangibles I've been talking about.
Clutch. Here's an intangible. Quarterbacks get too much credit and too much blame because it's a team sport. I was a center, but I played part of a team. And, an intangible, I didn't have one fumbled snap my whole senior year. That's an intangible. So Kenny
Pickett. That's the definition of tangible. You're holding the ball.
Well, it was an intangible before the season. It only became tangible like Hall of Famers after a career, after a season. Kenny Pickett had a great season for him in his 5th year. And it wasn't comparable to Danny Marino.
Nobody compared him to Danny Marino.
They
except for you.
And Pittsburgh media before you
Time out.
No, they compared him to Danny Marino all day long. That's why I have my opinion.
Well, I hear you. I'm speaking to you right now.
No. I'm saying why people like myself and others go by what I see. Open Door Moore, I saw he's tangible. He lets him in the door. And Kenny Pickett, I saw he couldn't see the left side of the field because he was under pressure most of the time. Did he play well at times? Yes. But here, if you didn't know it was Kenny Pickett and a quarterback had 7 TD passes in his rookie season, what would you be talking about?
He didn't play in every game. He didn't even play in most games.
He had 7.
He was out with a concussion and he didn't play in the first.
7 TD passes, and we're in Pittsburgh. What were we saying when Roethlisberger sucked at times? Yeah. And he's a Hall of Fame quarterback.
Who are these we people? Here's all I'm saying.
Pittsburgh sports fans. You play to them on the fan. We play to Pittsburgh fans with our show. I'm just giving you some realistic things that I've seen and heard.
I'm talking to you about what I experienced personally from a guy that I played a sport with who now plays Major League Baseball.
Well, I'm proud that he went to Bethel Park. I'm honored that he played here. I'm honored he averaged over 100 miles an hour.
Do you see the comparison?
And
do you understand
and
where
the comparison,
I'm drawing those two together?
Here's what it is. You're weighing this down with what Mason's done, which is great, and Pickett, we don't know. I'm willing to give Pickett a chance. That's what I wanted to end this with. He showed some good talent and skills with other intangibles.
Well, I'm glad you are, but I'm talking to a lot of people.
Yeah, but my thing. Yeah, but you're talking to him like this is what it's going to be. I'm talking realistically.
Well, I'm saying give him a chance. Like Mason.
Well, what did I just end it with? I'm willing to have him have a great career. I'm not against them. No.
What is going on here?
Why
are you raising your voice?
You disputed me making my statements while I let you do yours. I tried to
give
you.
It's my segment, holy smokes.
Well, I was just ready to start my segment.
Oh.
There's like a counterbalance. You're not accepting that.
I'm not confused.
Oh, and your grandfather's watching. Your mother said your grandfather, Nicholas, is watching.
Right. Yeah, so quit picking on him.
Well, I just wanted to make my point on why I'm not happy with Pickett. Guns. And we're not picking on you.
Let me say this. One thing that Pittsburgh is better than anybody else in the league at is they know that the real fans have heartstrings. That's why the Steelers have the biggest fan base in the whole country, and in Mexico, because they play.
Mexicans love them.
They play the heartstring game better than anybody, just like with Joey Porter. They know Pittsburghers love this kind of stuff. It's all about the emotion of it. You understand what I'm saying?
I'm dealing in reality.
Oh, they love it because I know people who don't even take a vacation. Their entire year of vacation is centered around the Steelers.
That's true.
Tailgating, doing this, wearing it. They even got a TV show where they show people's rooms with all the Steelers stuff.
Yeah.
They play that. And
They're
that's
man
their
caves.
greatest talent. That's why when you go to Dallas, in Atlanta, you can find Steeler bars anywhere. And that's what makes this team what it is, because they draft and they play to the strings of the emotion. And what does that do? Makes big money, because people are spending money on jerseys and on hats and on everything else.
No, you're right. Here, a friend of mine, Marla,
Makes money.
went to Keystone Oaks also. She said, "Hi, crew." She goes, "Great job, Al. I love Kenny P." Nick,
Yay.
that's what I'm proving. I'm a counterbalance with the fans. Like, I'm a happy Pirate fan who's been disgruntled since 1979.
No.
How do you dispute that, my young, smart friend who has an opinion?
Because that's your opinion.
That's what I'm saying, and I respected your opinion. I just wanted to put out my counterpoint to it, not a criticism. It's what I'm stating. You can pull it apart or whatever and disagree. I'm on the show not to be a yes man for everybody here. So that's how simple I am. I've had a long career as not being a yes man. No is one of my favorite words. And you just struck a chord with that. And I wanted to see how thick your skin is, because 3 guys here have 5 inches of skin before it affects them. You're like paper thin right now. Sorry, Grandpap, but I had to put it out. I've worked with plenty of guys like Nick and others, and I just wanted to bring that out.
It'll come with time.
Well, I'm I'm skipping my segment with On Location, but we don't have to put that up, Steve. But I wanted to just put out there, I respect Nick and all his research and what he does. And I'm just saying, I'm an older guy, old school, and I think differently than the average fan.
Al, when he realizes we're smarter than the guys on the fan, he'll be all right.
Whoa, did he say that out loud?
Yes, I did.
Oh, my goodness. If you have another rebuttal, get it out. I don't want you going away mad today. I wasn't picking on you.
I'm not mad. No, we're good. Things make sense. The end.
We're
He's
just
shown
about
a lot of growth for a young
You know
guy.
what? With what he's done in 2 years, I salute you. I'm glad I stepped him up on here before he hit the fan.
Good man.
Now he's at a new level.
Real quick, just for rebuttal, what's the grade? I got a D. What grade you
A.
give it? A?
B.
B+.
B.
B. Okay.
Thank you for watching the show. Thanks for your feedback. If we offended anybody, hey, we all take it and we like to give it. So thanks for watching the show. Stay Joey strong.